Are you finding difficult to play a game after the queens get traded? Are you not sure how to plan the game if then the queens are out of the board? Well, here is the solution for you. Today we are going to see very interesting game of one of the greatest tactician in the history of chess, Mikhail Tal. When I'm saying Mikhail Tal, you will be wondering like, oh, this is a game of some sacrifice, right? No, Mikhail Tal didn't even sacrifice a single piece today. Not even a pawn, not even a bishop, knight, rook, not even a queen. And obviously he didn't sacrifice the king. And he played it so perfectly, so beautifully, and he's made his opponent like to give up everything. It's like he sacrificed nothing, made his opponent to give up everything. Sounds insane, right? Like, how did Mikhail Tal do? What was his strategy? That is what we are going to discuss in this game, and let's analyze the game. So, welcome to Venture Chess Academy. I'm Sriram Panengada, and let's see the game. So Mikhail Tal was playing this game in 1992. So when this was one of his last games. He passed away in 1992. So this was last games of Mikhail Tal. He was playing as white, and his opponent was Reinemer. And the game started with the move d4. Black played f5. So if you don't know which opening is this is called as the Dutch defense. Very nice opening. And let me tell you one thing. If you're playing, if you don't know what to prepare against d4, like you guys are like I'm not sure what's your elo. So whatever your elo is, like you are finding little difficulty to face d4. One good recommendation I have is f5. It's called as the Dutch defense. Very exciting game. Sorry, opening. Yeah. So in the game f5, and now Mikhail Tal played the move knight f3 and bishop g5. So bishop g5, like we can say it's an opening principles. We are developing the bishop, developing the knight. Moreover that, we are also planning some sort of like capture sometimes. Not immediately, but sometimes this capture might create some positional problems. In the game knight e4, well, I was expecting Mikhail Tal to play move the bishop back. I really love bishops. I'm a fan of the Bobby Fischer, like love bishop pair. But in the game, Mikhail Tal played the move h4. He's ready to give up the bishop, capture, and return. What did he gain? He gained a semi-open file. It's very important. Now there's a small target. See here, this pawn is slightly weak. Please understand, whenever we are playing a game, any pawn which is not defended by a pawn is a weak pawn at any point of time. We cannot attack it right now. That means it's a potential weakness. But it is a weak pawn if the pawn is not defended by a pawn. So in that technical way, we can say this pawn is a weak pawn. So Mikhail Tal was able to create a small weakness in black's position. G6 was played, knight c3, developing the knight, d5. So Mikhail Tal started thinking, how can I play? Well, e3, bishop e2 or bishop d3, then short castle doesn't make any sense. He gave up his bishop to open this file for the rook, and short castle is like literally stupid, right? So that is not possible. So he decided queen d2, planning for long castle, bishop g7. And queen f4, it's more like a prophylactic idea, like saying, if you think of castle buddy, my queen will come for an attack. Like, don't even assume you are planning to castle. So in the game, d6, castle was played, queen d6. And in this position, like black is like, enough of you, Mikhail Tal. I don't want any crazy sacrifices. Like, I hate you for your sacrifice. So shall we please trade the queens? He asked Mikhail Tal, and Mikhail Tal said, sure, let's go for endgame. And he played g3. Well, I was expecting black to capture the queen, but he hesitated and he played bishop e6. His idea was very nice. He was saying, if you capture, I have small advantage out of it. Because in future, I'll move the king, I'll move the knight, I'll bring the rook here, and my rook is slightly better active. See, the rook is in a closed file, right? The rook is doing nothing. It comes here, it's in a semi-open file. So that was the idea. So in the game bishop e6, Mikhail Tal said, I'm not going to capture, you capture me. Knight d7, bishop d3 and bishop f7. And now white is in like a slightly tricky position because he has to capture the queen. Mikhail Tal captured the queen. He doesn't have any other options. Let's assume you play something like king b1, which is very good in long castle to play king b1. It's a mistake because of e5. Now, like if you go something like this is a really bad blunder, because e4 you lose a piece. So that is not possible. Like if you capture, let's capture. Let's assume you capture back again, and this is really bad. Capture, and this, look at this pawns. This is pretty bad pawns. The queen can attack it. This is not good. This is not at all good actually as a to play as white. So Mikhail said, okay, fine, this is your plan, right? So let me capture the queens. And finally, we have reached a position where, like, all of us are literally, like, we hate to play these kind of positions. The question is, how should we play this position? How should we play this position? So please understand 3 rules. I'll give you 3 rules to play middle game. Rule number 1, look for tactics. Search for tactics. Keep searching for tactics. See, there is a small weakness. Look for tactics. Look for tactical patterns. Second option, search for weakness. Like, see, if you want to attack, like you love attacking, you love sacrifice, right? To create sacrifice, you must know where should you attack. To attack, you should search for weakness. Weakness might be a weak square, or a weak pawn, or a weak piece. Look, if looking at this position, I can see, like, this is a weak piece, passive piece, chances for an attack. This is a hanging piece, we can attack it. Hanging piece can be attacked. These are like slightly weak square. If you can bring the knight to this square, it's awesome. So that's the option for you. And these are weak pawns. These are weak pawns. So if you can get an opportunity for an attack, that's great. Here, technically, this is a weak pawn we can call, because we can easily attack it. These are like potential weakness because we cannot attack it right now. So search for weakness where you can attack. Oh, okay, if you cannot find any, like that's second option. Option number 1, look for tactics. Option number 2, search for weakness. Option number 3, develop your pieces. Make them better. Make them happy. Like, see, generally, when can we say a piece is happy? When the piece has a lot of square to go, it's happy. So, these are the 3 things you should do. So, Mikhail started thinking, what can I do? Well, he couldn't find any tactics. He decided to attack the weakness. This is the weakness, sorry, my bad. So, he played rook h4. Already the rook is applying pressure. He's planning to double the rooks to exert more pressure. Bishop e6 was played. Knight e2. Knight e2 has lot of ideas. Like, see here. See, generally in the opening we have learnt our idea, right? Bring the knight towards the center, because generally it is active. But this is not always true. Look at this position. The knight is looking at the center, but it has no access to go forward. It cannot come to e4, d5, b5. The only square is to come a4, and coming here doesn't make any sense. You have to come back again. See, here the bar is coming down. So the knight has no square to go, and in this position, knight is not doing anything good. So Mikhail played knight e2. So in future, he can bring the knight here and attack the bishop, or apply some pressure in future. King f7, knight f4, rook h1. See, now what happened? The knight is better. These guys are doing better. And in the game, knight f8. And in this position, Mikhail didn't play the best move. Actually, the best move was knight into e6. Because after capture, we play g4. We are breaking the pawn structure after capture. Now, like, what happens? The rook has some activity in this position. So this would have been better, but Mikhail played knight g1. This looks like a passive move. What's the point of knight b1? The knight's doing nothing there. So the idea was, in future, let's assume after we capture, we can bring this knight back. So that is one possibility. And in another possibility is you can go something like f3 g4 or f3 e4. He wants to push the pawns forward. That's very good in chess. So bishop c8, knight e2, king g8. So shall we go on f3? Guys, shall we go f3? If you say yes, that's really bad. So king d2. The pawn is hanging. The moment you play f3, the pawn is hanging. The pawn is lost. So in the game bishop e5, like, I really wanted to give some ideas before making the move. So this looks like a brilliant move. Like if I'm not adding any annotations, this looks like, wow, what a brilliant move, isn't it? See, understand one thing in chess. We can classify traps into 2 types. One is, we can call it the good trap. One is bad trap. So when can we say a trap is a good trap? Let's assume you are playing a move and you are creating a trap. If opponent falls into the trap, it's awesome. If opponent doesn't fall into the trap, still your position is not bad for you. And this is a bad trap. Why? Like you're creating a trap. If opponent doesn't fall into your trap, your position is not good for you. That's not good for you. So that is a bad trap. So whenever we are playing the game, you want to create a trap, keep that in your mind. So in the game, G4 was played. Bishop into F4, Knight into F4, Rook F7. G into, Bishop into, captures, and finally we are entering more and more into endgame, and like we see the bar is going up. Wow! Like what is so special about this game? The bar is saying plus 4 points. Like we'll see what happened next. But remember what did I told you? Three things to play in middle game or end game. Tactic, look for tactics. Search for a weakness, hunt the weakness, attack the weakness, and keep making your pieces better. This is one weakness. I told you, right? This is a new weakness. A pawn which is not defended by pawn is a weakness. Keep that in your mind. Another weakness. And these are also slightly weakness, guys, because it is not defended by pawn. It's a potential weakness. But Tal realized there are 3 weaknesses. You can attack it now. Look at 6. Attacking the d6 pawn. Black had two options. Either defend it or like attack out, do counter attack. He played counter attack. He could have defended the pawn something like this. Then something like Rook F7, attacking this one. He has to give up one of the pawns. See, like, how can he defend the pawn? He has to bring the rook back. He loses the pawn. So Black realized like he cannot defend both pawns. So he decided Rook G5, attacking this pawn. Capture. Rook D8, creating a pin. And also in future we can also come and attack the pawn. And in this position, Black played King F7. My question for you here, I would love if you guys pause the video and find the idea. Why not something like H5? Like it's showing blunder, but why is this a blunder? If you don't know, please search for the idea. It's why to play and find a beautiful idea. You can pause the video and start thinking. And I'm going to reveal the answer right now. 3, 2, 1. This is a blunder because Rook into E6. We sack the rook and smack the king. It's winning. So that's what I tell you. See, in endgame also keep creating traps. Search for tactics. That is how our mind should work. King F7 was played. Rook B8, hitting the weakness. Rook G7. And now Mikhail Tal could have captured the pawn. Honestly, capturing was a good idea, but he decided to bring the final piece into the attack. Rook H6. See, one thing please understand. See, the more you see the games of these guys, one thing you will notice, they bring all the pieces into action. See, like chess is a team game. Although you are playing alone, you have a team of pieces. You should use all the pieces together. You cannot use only one rook or only one knight or only one queen. You have to use all the pieces to play a perfect game or a brilliant game or a good game. That is very important. These guys, like these legends or like very strong players, never fail to do that. They'll always bring all the pieces. That is what you guys should learn if you want to improve and get better. So Rook H6, King G8 was played. Well, actually here some of you might thinking, oh, let's go for Rook into F6. Wow, brilliant idea. But the problem is you just traded off everything. Like if you are, like you just traded both pieces, that's all. That's not a good idea. I am just saying that because my students calculated Rook into F8, so I'm just saying that. So in the game, Knight E6 was played. So there is whenever there is a pin, apply pressure. And that's how attacking the rook. Rook F7. And well. This is the final position. What if I tell you this position is completely lost? You can see the bar and you can say, oh, the position is lost. But how is this position lost? Like this is the final move of the game. I'm not saying the final move after that Black resigned, but this is the final blow for Black that literally made Black resign. It's been just 30 moves, and what on earth did Mikhail Tal play to resign or like to give up as Black? So time starts now. Keep thinking for how long you want, and the move is, I'm going to say in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and the move was F4. What? How is this? What? How is this brilliant move? And if you see the bar, it will say it is saying it's checkmate in 11 moves. Because my friends, like black is in zugzwang. If you haven't heard what is zugzwang, zugzwang is generally like it's basically a position where like whatever our opponent does is lost for him. Here black has no moves. Black cannot move the king. Black cannot move the knight. The move if he moves the rook, he will get checkmate. He comes here, it's lost. He comes here, it's checkmate. So technically, all these pieces are tied up. The only option he has are just 3 pawns. How long he can push the pawn? He played a6, a3, and black resigned the game because he has no moves. Let's assume he pushes any pawn. We can simply capture it, and then he eventually has to move the rook, and that's a checkmate. So this was the game of Mikhail. How was this game? What did you learn something new from this game? So everything happened from here. See, this shows Mikhail is not just a brilliant attacker, also a pure positional genius. See, understand this pattern of thought. In middle game or end game, doesn't matter whichever area of chess are you playing right now. You have 3 things to do. Search for tactics, look for weakness, because if you don't search for weakness, you cannot win the game. And keep making your pieces better and better. Just implement these 3 rules in your games. Your game is much better. So like from here, the game started like rook h4, attacking the weakness and also doubling the rook, making the knight better, making the rook better, and making the pieces better. And understanding endgame in the king is also very important piece. And finally, like a wonderful game. So I hope you loved this game, and I'm sure you learned something very interesting. And like if you are watching the video until this minute, one thing I'll give you an exercise for you. In the description there is a lecture study. If you open it, you can just replay the entire game with analysis. That's one thing for you guys. One more thing, what interesting lessons you have learned from this game, please comment down in the chat, because that will help others to see that. Even you will also summarize it. Summarizing is very important as a player because that brings clarity in your games. So thank you so much for your time, and see you in another video. Bye.